Kevin, a lot of talk about, the defense and the improvements that you guys have talked about that you wanted to make. How would you assess the defensive performance overall in this?
I think we played with a sense of urgency. I mean, we made sure our technique was right and our schemes. I think we did a good job of forcing those guys off the three-point line, and they threw it to Bam, who's an all-star in the post, and he did his thing. Jeff and DJ made him shoot tough shots all night, and you got to live with those. And he's such a great player that he's gonna keep him in the game with his passing, his rebounding, and shot making. So I think overall we did a solid job. Duncan Robinson didn't get his loose. Maybe he got a few late, but he didn't get his loose. So I think we followed the game plan.
This feel-out process, like with obviously yourself, Kyrie, James, other guys all get involved. Just the second game where you guys have all been together. From your perspective, what is this feel-out process like as you build trust?
Trust is already there, I think. I think just the familiarity with each other is there already. We play with each other and know each other's games for the last decade. And, it's just a matter of, what plays we're going to run at certain times, what lineups we're going to have out there. I think, both the coaches and the players are fine-tuning everything. And we're going to have spurts where, we play inconsistent. It's just because, we're trying things. But for the most part, our minds and hearts are in the right place when we're out there. And we're trying to take care of business every possession.
Bruce Beck with NBC New York.
Kevin, before the game, Steve said that he wanted to see 5 men show intelligence and passion. Do you think you saw that tonight?
For sure. Being intelligent out there is half the battle, and I feel like a lot of guys, most of the guys on this team, well, everybody on this team knows how to play the right way, knows different schemes, have played in different philosophies on both ends of the floor, and it's about executing. I think tonight we did a good job. I mean, we were up 20 points. We were up 16-14 going into the fourth quarter, and so we were in good shape. But we got to put together 4 quarters of great basketball.
Brian Lewis with the New York Post.
Hey Kevin, following up on you talked about coaches trying things and fine tuning. After the last game, the sentiment was, hey, we don't need to tinker that much with scheme. It's more just guys have to individually defend better. After this game, I'm curious, were there changes in terms of scheme, or was this just you guys play better on defensively individually?
Yeah, I mean, definitely your defense looks better when teams miss shots, and you got to give credit to the Cleveland team who knocked down shots on us, and then in the fourth quarter tonight they made shots, sometimes over a hand, so you got to live with some of those things, and it says the NBA, guys are pros, so we put ourselves in position to get stops, by contesting Bam in the mid-range, taking Duncan Robinson off the 3, Kelly Olynyk off the 3. So we went through the stuff that we were supposed to go through in film, and we went out there and executed. So we, for the most part, we did what we were supposed to do.
Greg Logan with Newsday.
Kevin, this was only the second full game for you guys together, you, Kyrie, and James. Even though James didn't get his usual amount of shots, I do find it almost shocking that you guys can play this well together so quickly, to the point where you guys combined to score every point in the fourth quarter.
No, it's not a surprise to me. I mean, we're veterans in this league. We've been through every situation so far, so we know how to handle that. And but for the most part, it's getting our teammates involved early on. Joe got going, Jeff got going. I think that's what we try to do to start the games. And if we're in a fourth quarter game, we got to go out there and be special and be who we are and make plays. And but our whole team put us in position to go out there and execute in the fourth.
Malika Andrews with ESPN.
Kevin, scoring 20 points in all 13 games you've played in this season is the longest streak you've had like that in your career. Is there something about the looks you're getting, your teammates, that's lending itself to that sort of production?
In terms of your team holding on and pulling out this win?
Yeah, I think it was one of those games where we could have found a bunch of ways to lose it. We hanging on to our lead. Second unit struggled a little bit. We lost that margin. And that's a tough position when you put your starters back in. late in the game when the momentum swung the other way. So I was happy with the character and resolve we showed to make some shots, to play against a different look. That zone, it's not something you face every day. So, trying to figure it out and stay calm, stay poised, play in principles more so than sets. And they most importantly, showed the resolve after a tough week to get the win.
Michael Grady from Yes Network.
Coach, you talked a lot about the 50-50 balls, the hustle, those little intangibles and winning plays. How would you assess the effort you got from you guys tonight?
I thought it was a great response from the guys. We, especially to start the game, came out, made the extra effort, multiple efforts, played collectively, offensively too, put that energy into the offense. Sometimes we have a tendency to stand and watch each other or to get stagnant, but we moved it. We made quick decisions at that end, and defensively, just the will was there. The will was there to make them feel us. So that was a big improvement from Cleveland, and proud of the way they came out and set the tone, and then found a way to win in the end.
Not a lot of, shot attempts from James. You've talked about, him and facilitating for others. How important is that, especially with him seeing time with the second unit, to help give those guys some confidence?
Well, it's invaluable, his, playmaking skills for us. So often he found guys for layups or wide open threes and created and distorted the defense. So, he wasn't himself shooting the ball. I think he's still trying to get himself into shape. That was a tough little week for him, 3 games in 4 nights, so including a double overtime. So I think, hats off to him that he found a way to contribute when his shot wasn't going and his legs weren't there. He still made a lot of plays for his team.
Greg Logan with Newsday.
Hey, Greg, good to hear from
Steve,
you.
how are you?
Yes. I was worried about you up there.
I know. I just wanted to ask a 2-part thing. You're up 16 at the end of the third quarter. Does this team sometimes have a tend to relax when you get that kind of cushion? And then how hard is it to get started again the way you did in the fourth period?
Yeah, I don't know if it's relaxing, but that second unit is just growing, trying to learn and figure it out and play together. And, they just struggle a little bit, and that's going to happen sometimes. So, they're capable. We got to develop them. The alternative is to play our starters 40-plus minutes. So fortunately, we had a little bit of a cushion, and although we lost the momentum and the lead thereabouts, we still were able to win the game and keep the minutes in a relatively acceptable zone. So, that's part of our development. That's part of taking the long road here and not necessarily trying every night to wear our guys out and not develop the second unit.
Malika Andrews with ESPN.
Mute, Malika. You're on mute. I don't know if it's Greg Logan.
We'll try Alex Schiffer with The Athletic.
Is rubbing off on you? What's the deal, guys? Come on.
Hey, Steve, I got 2 for you. Just even with all these stars, how big of a difference maker is it when you get a guy like Joe going early? And then just my second one is, even though you talked about James, it's only been a week, I guess, where do you think he's made the most strides in such a short time with only games and only 1 practice, given everything?
Yeah, well, Joe was outstanding shooting the ball for us. Also his energy and hustle defensively and his ability to stick to the game plan, I think, helps us a lot. James is, he's a terrific playmaker. He hasn't got his scoring going yet. I think he's still trying to get himself into shape, but the playmaking is important. I think also his familiarity with the switching defense, is important. So we know where James will get. It's just a matter of getting him there in a safe way.
Brian Lewis with the New York Post.
Hey, Steve. I'm curious. Obviously, this is going to be a weird season where rosters and teams aren't going to look like their normal selves every day. But was that the shot profile defensively that you wanted? I mean, were you getting them, forcing them to take the kind of shots that you wanted? Or was that team so decimated that it's kind of hard to judge that when they're missing those threes?
Well, I mean, you can only play the game in front of you. So I thought tonight, Bam was exceptional in the mid-range, but, we made him take tough shots. He got.
Well, and was noting that, can you hear me now with my mask down?
Well, it wasn't exactly the crowd that drowned him out.
No, not at all. Yeah. Unfortunate scenario. Usually somebody's jumping on that. And here's the next layer. The players could too.
Well,
you've been in enough situations to know full well
I was sort of surprised to see the ball go down to the floor on a dribble. And, time and score. Look, whoever it is, you've got to know time and score, whether it's the bench or it's a player. Everybody's responsible.
Let's hear from the man himself. It's the Baptist Health post-game press conference. Here is Heat head coach Eric Spoelstra.
All right, Coach, sorry about that. Looks like the raise hand function's not working on Zoom.
Okay.
So
I thought that was going to be one of the good things of the night. No questions.
So let me start with, looks like Ira Winderman is unmuted, so go ahead, Ira.
Eric, can you sort of just take us through the way your team fought back through that adversity just to get to that point?